Hello, welcome to lesson number 5, the short film or narrative film short project that you will be completing for MPTV 1011, Introduction to Motion Picture Television. I want to go over the 5 phases to any feature film. First, there's the development, the pre-production, the production, the post-production, and then the final stage is distribution, marketing, and exhibition. We have been working on 3 of the stages throughout the entire semester: pre-production, production, and post-production. We're now going to go into detail on what each of these phases are. So in development, the producer is going to get access to the material. That could be a book, and they're going to develop it into a script, someone's story. They're going to go out to write the script on that person's life experience. So they'll develop the script. We'll also hire, and when I say the producer acquires the material, I should say that they're not the one that's developing the script. There's a script writer for that. We will hire a director. We will also attach lead actors to the film. We will create a budget, and we will pitch it to studios to get it greenlighted. And this is also known as packaging. Pre-production. This is a phase that you have been doing since you started this class. The pre-production that we have been doing in class has been creating storyboards, proposals, treatments, shooting schedules, finding talent. And that's the same stuff that would go into a film that is either a short film or a feature film. So in the pre-production phase, you'll start to spend the money. You'll set shooting dates. You will hire your cast and your crew. You will reserve rental equipment. You will organize the catering. You'll work with the art department on locations, costumes, and props. You'll do camera tests, concept art, and then you'll do minor script revisions during the pre-production phase. After the pre-production phase is done, you'll move on to the production phase. But pre-production phase involves the organization, confirmations, and scheduling of all elements of production. Proposals are completed during the pre-production stage, and the example that you can see here is an example of what would be included in a proposal. It would have the theme, the objective goal, who the target audience is, the aesthetic feel of the film, your budget, and how you plan to release and showcase the work that you're creating. So a proposal is a concise summary of a project intended as a sales tool to accurately describe a production and to sell a sponsor on funding. So we have been working on proposals in a very minor role in this class. As you go through the department, you will add on to the length and the information needed for a proposal. And there's proposals that are done and presented to clients to produce videos for that client. So if a client came to me and wanted me to do a promotional video about their organization, they would not only be meeting with my production company, they would be meeting with other production companies as well. And we would go in to the company, my company would, and we would present our proposal on how we could do their video for them and on what type of budget we could do that for them. And they would take a look at our presentation, and they would look over our proposal, as well as they would do that with the others production companies that presented, and then they would make a selection from there on who would produce their video. And so it's very similar to what you would see, that's on the corporate side, but proposals are also done on the narrative side as well. Pre-production planning. Once a proposal has been written, a treatment must be prepared. Again, there's an example of a treatment here that you can take a look at. A treatment is intended to be read by a potential financial backers to assist them in making a decision as to whether they were willing to entrust their money to the producer. The first paragraph is going to repeat key information from the proposal, such as the title, the length, the format, and the objective of the production. Now, a treatment is a narrative description of the production, and it should read more like a novel than a script. It's intended for the non-media person. You would not be describing who you're going to be casting in the treatment. You wouldn't be describing the dialogue that would be exchanged between the talents involved in the film. You would be giving us just a narrative description, a feel of what your film is about. And typically, if a studio likes what they see in the treatment, they'll request to see the script. Production planning. We will continue to do the storyboards. Again, if you are not strong at drawing, you just need to make sure that you are filling the entire box if you're going to be doing the stick figures, which is fine to do. Just make sure that you fill the box with your image. So if it's an extreme close-up, we want to see the entire head and the eyes and the nose and the mouth. We want to see extreme close-up. And remember, you'll time it out so it gives you an idea of how long the shot would be. And then if there's any audio that goes with it, you will write the audio here, and then you will write the description of the video that you drew right here. So again, storyboards is a series of drawings indicating each shot that accompany audio in the production. So you would need to, for your film, you would need to storyboard each shot that you plan on shooting for the production phase of your project. Now keep in mind, things do change when you get to production, but this helps you pre-plan, and there is always that understanding that on the day of the shoot, things may change and not follow exactly what is in the storyboard. We also have an example of a script here. This is a script that you're going to also find in your Blackboard handout. This is showing at the top, you're going to have a slug. You can see that at the top there. You're going to keep that in caps. You're going to write if it's interior, exterior, location. You're going to say it's in the afternoon, and that's all going to be in caps. On the next thing, you're going to describe the description of the character that you are introducing. So you can see that when we do introduce John Hellinger, we put his name into caps. Then we hit return, and then Hellinger starts to speak. We put the character's name in caps, and then we put the line that that character is going to say. Now down just a little bit underneath that, you're going to see where there's a camera direction. It says pull back over. That's not recommended for the screenwriter. The screenwriter is writing the script. Then if the script is approved and greenlit, it's going to go to the director, who's going to decide what types of shots are going to be needed to capture this film. Again, the character continues to talk, and we have their names in caps. And then as you go down about middle way here, you're going to see where we do a voiceover. And so the character is not on screen, but we know that the character is still talking, so we hear over, and this is what this character is saying, but there's going to be video over that. And at the way bottom, you will see where we talk about a series of shots, also known as a montage. And this, again, is a script that you are going to follow when you are putting together your final narrative script for your project. Okay, so now we're moving on to the production stage. So we've completed all the paperwork for pre-production, and again, it's very important that in the pre-production phase, you complete all the paperwork before you begin the production. And there's, lots of reasons that we do it, but one reason that we do it is, if I'm someone that hired your production company to come shoot a video for me, and I'm paying a lot of money for it, I don't want to have money wasted because you're not organized. Right? And and if it is your company, you don't want to be losing money. You don't want to be at the end of the day going, well, that took 5 hours longer than expected, so you have to kind of subtract that from the amount of money that you're getting. And that's, the reason, one of the reasons, and I think one of the top reasons why you want to be organized going into production. And it just puts more confidence in you when we see that you're organized and keeping the production on track. So once you enter the production phase, the director will be in charge creatively. You will be getting all the video and the sound. The actors will be doing the performance. The unit production manager will coordinate the physical production of where your locations are going to be set up. You will have a line producer that manages your budget. And the producer has eyes on the marketing and will start to develop the marketing materials for this film. So other things to keep in mind for production is the location scouting. Again, this would be part of pre-production. The location scouting, the equipment needs, the sets, the props, the lighting, audio, sound, and then directing the talent. And here is a look at some framing principles. Some of this we've discussed in earlier lessons. We have nose room here. You can see that's the middle shot. And that is extra space allowed in front of the face when framing the human head if facing in a specific direction. We also have the lead room, which is extra space in front of any moving object in the camera. So the nose room is more of the when the person is sitting or having a discussion, and we're going to give them that amount of space in the direction that they are looking at. And lead room is going to be the space that's needed for the subject moving forward, right? They're physically moving, and we want to give them that lead room in front of them. I always give the example of when you watch a sporting event on TV and you see the football player and he's running towards the end zone. We're not looking in back. The room isn't behind him. The room is in front of him. We want to see the direction that he's going. Rules of third. The composition and framing theory, that is a visual frame, may be split into 9 sections by intersections of 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines, each 1/3 of the way into the frame. Some of the cameras that you guys may have access to, even your phones, have a setup where you could put up the rules of third for framing of your shots. And again, we're saying where the lines intersect are going to be more interesting for framing your subject. You can also revisit the rules of thirds in lesson number 1, and it's in part of the vocab. And it has some examples in there that you can relook at if you'd like to. Shooting for editing. Continuity of action. Example: if the actor picks up a pen in the wide shot, the close-up shot must be shot so that the rate of the picking up the pencil is at the same hand the pencil is used. Okay, so keeping that action and that speed the same, and that you're also keeping it in the same hand. Continuity of direction. Example: if the shot shows an actor moving to the right, unless there's a change of direction shown on the camera in the shot, or the cutaway is inserted in between the 2 shots. So continuity of direction is that we need to keep having, as you can see here, the camera going in the same direction. Now, if shot 2 had our talent on, right now our talent, if you're looking at it, is on the left side of, I'll kind of get my scroll over there, is on the left. But if we had the talent on the right and the wheel was going this direction, they'd be going opposite from where the car was going, and that would be confusing to the talent. A cutaway shot video can be used to intercut between 2 shots in order to avoid jump cuts and continuity problems. Typically, cutaway shots are going to be tighter shots. They're not going to be very wide. They're usually medium shots or tighter. Jump cut. This was discussed in lesson 2. Is any one of the several types of poor edits that either break the continuity or may be disturbing to the audience. Typically what we say for a jump cut, which is common, I guess is commonly what we see in this course done, is that the framing is very similar to the last shot. So either the camera, the tripod stayed in the same place and you just cut to a closer shot, or you just moved the camera and the tripod just a little bit, and so the framing looks very similar to the previous shot that we saw, and that would give us a jump cut look. Continuity of location includes lighting, background, and audio. Example, if the establishing shot is lit in low key with heavy shadows, then all the close-ups must be also lit the same way. Cover shot, any one of several shots, usually close-up, designed to give the editor a means of preserving continuity. Oops, now I want to go back to that slide. How do I go back? Sorry. Production. Striking is going to be at the end of your production. You are done filming and it is now time to clean up. So you're going to do the striking process, and it's going to tear down and pack up the equipment and settings from the shooting location. Typically the first thing we do, turn off, and you'll see it's number 2 on there, is the lights. We won't be having access to that in this class, but as you work through the department and through the program, you will be introduced to lighting, and that would be the first thing that you want to turn off because it usually needs the longest to cool, and you don't want to be putting that into a box and then causing any damages because it was too hot. But here's a list of things that you can take a look through to keep in mind when you are striking at the end of your production. So we did our development, we did our pre-production, we've done our production, and now we enter into post-production. And that is when we're going to edit the picture, we're going to do any possible reshoots we may need, we're going to do sound editing, we're going to do Foley or ADR, we'll select our music, we'll select special effects, we'll do any color correction, we'll also do test screenings, and then we'll do different types of cuts. We'll have the director's, editors, and producer's cuts. Another way that we do cuts is we do a rough cut, we do a fine edit, and then we do our final cut. Distribution, marketing, and exhibition. So distribution is the physical creation and shipping of the prints. Your film's done, you want to distribute it, you want to get it out to the viewing public. Marketing is a campaign created to appeal to primary and other audiences. So you're going to create a marketing campaign that supports the film that you made. And there are many outlets that you can get your film seen in, such as theaters, stores, DVD, cable, streaming, social media. And this is going to be over a 2-year lifespan, typically. Things to remember for your short film stories. There's no time for acts. Features dramatize a series of moments. Short films dramatize a single moment, maybe 2 or 3 depending on the length. Generally, a moment in a character's life is a setup, developed and concluded. Character development still occurs, but on a much more limited scale. So now we are going to introduce how you're going to go about doing your final short film. So we're going to have you take a look at the short film project.